So it's recently been announced that Pep Guardiola is due to leave Man City after 10 years, after a decade of absolute dominance. And me as a Man City fan, all I can say to Pep is thank you, man. Thank you for what he's done for the club, man. Because Man City, we were good before Pep, you know what I'm saying? We were good before Pep. We already had won 2 Premier League titles. We'd won an FA Cup before Pep. We'd won a couple of League Cups before Pep's under Mancini and Pellegrini. But I feel like when Pep Guardiola came, it just took it to the next level, you know what I'm saying? Teams around Europe started taking Man City very, very seriously, especially when we started getting to, the later rounds of the Champions League, consistent semi-finals, got to a final, and then eventually ended up winning the Champions League by completing a treble, only the second English treble to ever be done. So yeah, man, thank you to Pep Guardiola, man, because what he did in England, broski, what he did for Man City is crazy. 10 years, that's genuinely a dynasty, you know what I'm saying? That's genuinely a dynasty. The only other dynasty in Premier League history is with Fergie and Man United, you know what I'm saying? When they went on their runs in the 90s and early 2000s. But yeah, that was a genuine dynasty. But Pep, he's the other dynasty, man. And what he did in the league, all the records that he broke, his first season, you know what I'm saying, went trophyless, came third, you know what I'm saying? Then he revamped, made a few signings. I remember when he first came in, he signed the likes of Ilkay Gundogan, the likes of Leroy Sané, signed Nolito, signed Bravo. The Bravo thing did not work at all, but he signed Gundo, he signed Sané. And then, yeah, it didn't really work out. City came third place. The backline that year wasn't shaky. He didn't really address the backline in that first season for me, you know what I'm saying? We were still having Zabaleta, club legend, but his legs had gone at that point. Kolarov, I really like Kolarov, had a cannon of a left foot, but his legs had gone at that point as well, you know what I'm saying? Company was still battling injury that season. John Stones was still a very young, inexperienced defender. That was still the stage of John Stones' career where it was like, he's a very good young player, but he's still got a mistake in him, you know what I'm saying? So we ended up finishing third that year, but he came back the next year, signed Kyle Walker, signed Benjamin Mendy, signed Bernardo Silva, all these guys, you know what I'm saying? Aguero was still there. Sterling took the next step in his development. Sane took the next step. And then we absolutely just riled it off, you know what I'm saying? 100-point season. I remember watching that year. I knew we had something special when, I'm pretty sure it was September, start of that league season, where we absolutely wrapped Liverpool in 5-0, you know what I'm saying? That was a Liverpool side under Jurgen Klopp, a Liverpool side with, that front four of Mo Salah, Mane, Firmino, and Coutinho, you know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure, yeah, Mo Salah, Mane, Firmino, and Coutinho. Mane did get sent off that day for the high foot on Ederson, you know what I'm saying? The kung fu kick on Ederson. But still, when we wrapped them 5-0, I was like, all right, cool, this team is something, you know what I'm saying? This team is something. And let's be honest, that season, the league was done by before Christmas, you know what I'm saying? The league was done before Christmas. I remember that year we beat United at Old Trafford 2-1 away. I remember it was like this. It was like the start of December. That's when the league was done, to be honest. That's when the league was done. Ended up, getting 100 points in that season, winning the Carabao Cup as well. And yeah, just absolutely dominance, man. 100-point season. That last-minute winner from Gabby Jesus at Southampton to secure the 100-point season. Raw, bro. Crazy, crazy work, man. Dominant season, man. I remember that year so well, man. It was like, in career mode, when you build like a super team in career mode and you go to the calendar and you just skip ahead like 2 months and it's just W. That's how it felt in 17, 18 and 18, 19. Those 2 seasons, it was just, you could just press simulate on this team and you knew they would go and you knew they would just smash everyone, you know what I'm saying? That 17, 18, 18, 19 run was special, man. That was special. Sane and Sterling on the wings, bro. Oh my days, cash money, bro. Sterling at the back post. Sane cross into Sterling or Aguero at the back post. That was cash money, man. David Silva, KDB, Fernandinho, them doing their thing, man. That was crazy, man. 17, 18, 100-point season. Then the next year, 18, 19, domestic treble. It had to go down to the wire against Liverpool. That game against Liverpool, John Stones clearance off the line, Bernardo Silva masterclass, Leroy Sané winner. We were like 7 points behind Liverpool, managed to claw it back, win I'm pretty sure it was 14 straight in a row. Hey man, only a Pep team could do that, man. Rattle off 14 straight in a row to win the title on the last day of the season at Brighton, you know what I'm saying? And yeah, man. But that year, 18-19, bro, in my opinion, that's probably the best squad, in my opinion, Premier League history ever assembled, bro. If we just go squad, when I'm not talking about starting 11, I'm talking literally from number 1 all the way to about 18. You can't name me a better 18-man squad than that 18-19 Man City team. I'm telling you, if you've seen the graphic, bro, of the amount of quality in that team, bro, was absolutely ridiculous. That team should have won a quadruple that year. That if anyone was going to win the quadruple that year, it was that team. For me personally, when we didn't win the quadruple that year, I said, yeah, no other team. I don't think we're going to see a team win the quadruple in England, because that team should have done it, bro. They came close, won the domestic treble. But obviously that Spurs game, man, the VAR decisions in that Spurs game, the Llorente handball, the Sterling disallowed goal, oh my days, bro. Heartbreaking stuff, heartbreaking. That should have been us that year, you know what I'm saying? It should have been a Man City Liverpool final, man. Tottenham, they got all the way, beat Ajax in dramatic fashion as well, just to put up an absolute stinker in the final. That should have been a Man City Liverpool final, man. Man City should have won. That was the team to win the quadruple, man. You look at you go along that list of the 18-19 team. Crazy work, man. Ederson, Walker, Company, Stones, Laporte, Otamendi, Zinchenko, Fernandinho, De Bruyne, David Silva, Bernardo Silva, Leroy Sané, Aguero, Sterling, Jesus, Mahrez. Did I say Sané? Yo, Phil Foden, a young Phil Foden, Gundogan, oh my days, just quality. Fabian Delph, quality, bro, just absolute quality. For me, if we're just talking 18-man squad, that's the best ever, bro. That team, that was the one that should have won the quadruple, in my opinion. But yeah, man, Pep, 198 points in them 2 seasons. Crazy work, man. Obviously, the Champions League still couldn't get over the hump, you know what I'm saying? First year, got knocked out to Monaco round of 16, you know what I'm saying? That was a bad one. 5-3 up, bad one. Next time, Liverpool, you know, Liverpool at Anfield, they just absolutely just came in and they just rocked us 3-0, you know what I'm saying? They rocked us 3. I'm pretty sure they scored 3 in the first 25 and the tie was already done. Then the Tottenham one, that was heartbreaking. That for me should have been the one. That felt like our year, you know what I'm saying? That felt like our year. And then, yeah, that was a big criticism. Pep, despite all Pep did during those, you know, first 3 years, people were still like, yo, Pep, City brought you in to win the Champions League. They've already won the Prem under Mancini and Pellegrini. They've won FA Cups. They've won League Cups. Your job now is to bring that Champions League. And then we roll on over into 1920. Yo, it wasn't a great year, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't a great year. Won the Carabao Cup again, but in the league, distant second to Liverpool. And that Lyon tie, it was bad, bro. That Lyon tie was bad, bro. It was bad. You know, Sterling missing the open goal. It was very bad. You know what I'm saying? We signed Rodri that year, and it was sort of like, you know, it was one of them ones where it's just like, it looked like, alright, cool, Pep's got a transition now, you know what I'm saying? He needs to transition, the league is catching up to him, and he's shown his ability to transition, man. That's why I think Pep deserves huge credit over these last 10 years to stay as competitive as he did. People don't give him enough credit for the way that he transitions players on. Sort of like Fergie, you know, the way Fergie knew when to sign certain players, knew when to let certain players go, knew when to sort of revamp the team. You know what I'm saying? I feel like Pep deserves huge credit as well, you know, because after that 1920 season, Pep said, you know what? We're going into the false 9. So next year, 2021, false 9. I remember Gundogan out of nowhere just went on this mad scoring run. And then, yeah, City went, 21 games, win streak in all competitions. Crazy work. Gundogan fired Man City to the title. He brought in João Cancelo that year as well. João Cancelo playing as that inverted fullback. Everyone was thinking, yo, what's Pep doing, man? Like, what's Pep doing? Doing inverted fullbacks and all of these things. But it works, man. João Cancelo, for the time that he was at City, another quality player, man. Got to the UCL final, you know what I'm saying? Beating PSG in the process. In that semi-final, beating Borussia Dortmund. Played Chelsea, but it just wasn't to be once again, man. He dropped Rodri for that final and people were onto Pep's head. That's when the peak, you know, I remember people were calling Pep a fraud. People were calling De Bruyne a fraud, saying that De Bruyne doesn't show up in big games, which for me is one of the biggest myths in football history. Like, people who still think De Bruyne doesn't turn up in big games, crazy. But back in 2021, that's what guys were saying. Pep bottles big games. De Bruyne doesn't show up in big games. And yeah, people were just thinking, yo, Man City, they're just cursed, you know what I'm saying? But Chelsea, they came out that day. That was N'Golo Kante's season, man. That N'Golo Kante run was special, man. But still couldn't get that Champions League. Came in the next year again, 21-22. Went to the wire with Liverpool. Got it on the final day. That crazy game. We've all seen the image. KDB tying up his shoelaces 2-0 down. The Gundogan substitution, you know what I'm saying? Him coming on, bagging two and breaking Scouser's hearts once again, you know what I'm saying? Breaking Scout's heart once again. Some of the games that year between Man City and Liverpool were crazy. I think they were both 2-2 games. 2-2 at Anfield at first, 2-2 at the Etihad. Yeah, them prime Liverpool Man City games, special stuff, man. Special stuff. Then yeah, 21-22, that's back to back. Then we go to 22-23, signs Erling Haaland, and you know what happens, man. City was struggling at the start of that treble-winning year, but then for me, it all changed that fateful day at the Etihad against Tottenham, bro. 2-0 down, came back to win 4-2. I remember Mahrez put on a masterclass that day, and yeah, as soon as that game happened, something switched, bro. Something switched, and we ended up, you know, racing for the title, 8 points behind Arsenal. Caught Arsenal, you know what I'm saying, smashed them at the Etihad 4-1. The KDB Haaland two-man step, I'll never forget that one there, you know what I'm saying. Crazy work, 4-1. I remember people saying, Odegaard's better than KDB, blah, blah, blah. KDB showed that guy levels, man. I'm pretty sure even for one of De Bruyne's goals, he actually dispossessed Odegaard, went on the counter-attack and finished it off, you know what I'm saying. But yeah, 22-23, won the treble, man. League, FA Cup, the Gundogan final, that volley in the first minute, crazy work, man. That volley against Man United, crazy work. Yeah, and Champions League against Inter, got that done, man. Rodri, Bernardo Silva into Rodri, placed that home, you know what I'm saying. Had to beat Bayern on the way there, had to beat Madrid, you know what I'm saying. 4-0 at home against Madrid. Yeah, man, that 22-23 squad as well, man. I don't think it's as good individually as that 18-19 squad, but still, very good, man. Can't forget Julian Alvarez was our second string striker. That's when you know things were scary, you know what I'm saying? That's when you know things were scary, man. And then 23-24, once again, goes to the wire with Arsenal, and Pep gets it done ultimately, you know what I'm saying? Ultimately, Pep gets it done. He's got his Champions Leagues. He silenced the haters. People was trying to say, oh, one Champions League after spending all that money. That's something that I had to defend Pep growing up. You know what I'm saying? During these 10 years, being one of the only Man City fans, I always had to back Pep when people said, oh, he only wins because of the money. I'm like, no, look at the amount of money United spend on certain players, man. Look at the amount they spend on Anthony. Lukaku, Anthony 85 mil. Lukaku 80 mil. Pogba 90 mil. Pogba's quality, but it just didn't work out, Man United. But you look at the amount of money that they spend on players. Rasmus Højlund, 75 million. Don't chat to me about money. Harry Maguire, 80 million. Again, Harry Maguire, good servant to Man United, but was not worth the 80 million. Allow it, bro. And then you got Chelsea. Chelsea, they signed Lukaku as well for 100 million. Nobody, you know what I'm saying? They signed Lukaku, and I'm pretty sure there's others, you know, the Werner signing, the Ziyech signing. It just didn't work out, you know what I'm saying? And then we get into, you know, the backing that Arteta had, the backing that Arteta's got, you know, during his run, the backing that Arne Slot just got in the summer to try and go repeat. We also saw how that went. They're not, you know, they didn't do anything this year, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, so it just proves that, yo, it's not about the money, man. It's about, you know, knowing how to use players, knowing, you know, how to which players to identify, who to get in the market. Because you can say that Pep has all the control, but at the end of the day, if he has the control and he's winning titles, and that means he knows how to identify who he needs, you know what I'm saying? That's a great trait to have as a manager. People try to use that against him, that he gets all his players, he gets all his players, and, you know, he gets whoever he wants. But let's be honest, he gets whoever he wants, fair enough. But he's had way more hits than misses, you know what I'm saying? We can count the hits. If we count the hits that he's had on transfers, we'll be here all day. I'm going to try and count the misses, the serious misses that he had. Okay, cool. Claudio Bravo, that one there was a miss. Nolito, at first, that one there was a miss. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to think who else really could you say was a flop, like flopped at Man City. People try to say Jack Grealish, but Jack Grealish in that treble winning season, he did help us. I think I wouldn't call Grealish a flop. I'd just say overpriced, extremely overpriced. But I just think if we had got Grealish on a 50 or 60 million pound thing, I think he would, you know, justify that price tag for what he did in that treble winning season, for the moments that he produced, in my opinion. I just think Grealish was overpriced. But if you want to count Grealish, then fair enough. But for what? I'm thinking 3 misses. Off the top of my head, I can't really think of, you know, other like serious flops, in my opinion. Because even the players that, you know, there were underwhelming players, but in terms of just flops, maybe like 3 of them, bro. That's about it, you know what I'm saying? That's literally about it. Probably Bravo, but even Nolito. Did Nolito even have the expectations? So we could even count him. Let's just say Bravo. And if you want to count Grealish, I wouldn't count Grealish, but let's just say for argument's sake. For me, he's had way more hits than misses. Like the misses, who else are we really talking about? You know, proper flop to the point where they came from Man City with expectation and then they left swiftly. With, you know what I'm saying, with nothing to show for it, you know what I'm saying? Like, compared to, you know, a Man United who signed like a Rasmus Højlund or an Anthony, where big money and then after 2 years they're out the door. After 2 years they're struggling to find suitors to buy them. You can't really say that about Pep, man. But that's why in my opinion he's got to be in that GOAT conversation, man. Like, people talk about, you know, Fergie did it for so long, and I get, you know what I'm saying, I get the Fergie thing, I do, but the things that Pep has done, the amount of dominance, bro, 6 in 10 years is not easy, bro. Like, 6 in 10 years is not easy, and he's had to adapt his way. He's had to adapt his style. He's had to adapt his players as well. You know what I'm saying? He's had different styles of teams. You know, first of all, the Aguero, Sane, Sterling front three. Then he went to the false 9. Then he managed to, you know, build around Haaland, you know, Grealish came in for that treble winning season. He balled out. He knew when to bring Mahrez in. He knew when to bring Foden in, you know what I'm saying? Got Foden a PFA Premier League Player of the Year. De Bruyne was great at Wolfsburg and under Pellegrini before Pep came, but Pep took his game to the next level. In my opinion, Pep rejuvenated a guy like David Silva under Pellegrini. He looked like his legs were sort of going like Yaya Toure's, but that's just my opinion. But when Pep came in, revitalized David Silva, man. Absolutely revitalized David Silva. Showed why he's one of the best midfielders to ever do it in the Prem, man. But yeah, took Aguero, managed to, you know, build around Aguero, prolific under Pep Guardiola, you know what I'm saying? Let's talk about Leroy Sané and Raheem Sterling, bro. Them two. Leroy Sané has not hit the heights ever since he left Man City. He has not had a better season or better 2 seasons than the 2 seasons or 3 seasons, sorry, that he had under Pep. He has not hit those heights. He didn't hit those heights at Bayern Munich whatsoever. And we all know Raheem Sterling. Literally, Pep built Raheem Sterling, turned him into a 30-goal-a-season winger, got him in like Ballon d'Or top 10s and all of that. So yeah, I just think Pep's overall ability as a manager gets a lot of criticism for, you know, maybe he's for his ruthlessness. Maybe he's not the most, you know, friendly guy. You know, guys will come out and say, guys like Samuel Eto'o or Yaya Toure will come out, say a few things, you know. People will try to do the whole thing of like, Mourinho won the Champions League with Porto, but Pep didn't win the Champions League with Bayern and all of that. And it's like, alright, bro, like, come on, let's be serious, you know what I'm saying? That's really the only thing that they had against Pep, that Champions League thing. And it's crazy because he's got 3. The guy has 3 Champions Leagues and people still say he hasn't won enough. That's when you know the standards are set, bro. You know what I'm saying? That's when you know the standards are crazy. When you've won 3 Champions Leagues and people say you should have more, that's when you know you're him, in my opinion. But yeah, man, what Pep has done for Man City over these 10 years is crazy, man. I personally don't think we'll ever see dominance like this, bro, again, bro. Like, even with Fergie, if we look at Fergie's 10-year span with Fergie compared to a 10-year span with Pep, I think it's neck and neck, you know what I'm saying? Fergie probably did Yeah, I think it's neck and neck in my opinion. Like you can take any 10-year span of Fergie and Pep's 10 years at City. Yo, it can compete with any of it, you know what I'm saying? I think Pep has to be in that GOAT conversation, man. Obviously, I'm biased because I'm a City fan, and I was actually there when Pep was dominating. I wasn't there in the 90s, early 2000s, even late 2000s, to be honest. I started watching football, you know, 09, 10. That's the season that I properly started watching, so yeah, for me, I've just seen, you know, Pep just being the dominant force. And then he came to Man City. They said he couldn't do it in the Prem. Said that, you know, his tactics, his style of play, Pep will have to adapt to the Prem. Nah, big man. The Prem adapted to Pep. You see the way guys are trying to play out the back now. That's Pep, you know what I'm saying? There's no way English media tried to make out that Pep's got to adapt. Nah, guys are now adapting to him. We've got people saying Pep ruined football because everyone's trying to copy him. How can you ruin something if people are trying to copy you? Blame the people who are copying. Blame the people who are copying Pep. Nobody said that you have to play like Guardiola, but they see it works. They see it gets results from youth level all the way up to the pros, man. You know what I'm saying? They all want to play like Guardiola, man. That's what you call impact, you know what I'm saying? So for me, in terms of the GOAT in the Premier League, he's there with Fergie, in my opinion. He's there in just in terms of the dominance. I know Fergie did it for longer, but for me, just in terms of the dominance, he's there with Fergie. And if we're just talking about football, forget Pep's time in Man City. If we take his whole career, he's definitely one of them, man. He's definitely one of them. I would say if we're just going entire career, Barcelona, Bayern Munich, Man City, hey man, he might be my GOAT manager, I'll be honest, man. Because this guy, his record, bro, is crazy work, bro. His record, bro, like, what we saying for, in terms of, we could look at league titles. Won 3 out of 3 league titles with Bayern Munich, 6 out of 10 with Man City, and then at Barca, what was it, 3 out of 4. So if you add that together, that's what? That's 12 league titles, bro. Crazy work, bro. 12 league titles in how many years? 12 is that 12 and 16? 75% rate in league titles. Come on, man. You can't tell me that that's not GOAT shit right there, bro. But anyway, man. 10 years, what Pep's done for the club, man. Crazy work. 6 league titles. I'm pretty sure 5 league cups. Got the Champions Leagues. What was it? 3 FA Cups? Yeah, man. Pep, legacy cemented, bro. Legacy in the Prem cemented. Legacy in club football cemented, bro. I wonder what he's gonna do next, man. Maybe he goes international, bro. Maybe he takes charge of Spain and gets them a World Cup. Which if Pep goes international football and gets a World Cup, or even a Euros, in my opinion, come on, man. That's the best. That's the best manager to ever do it, man. But that's just my opinion, man. So thank you to Pep. And yeah, man. Enzo Maresca, big shoes to fill, man. But I like Maresca. I like what we're seeing out of Maresca at Chelsea, man. I feel like now with City, he's got better players. He can be a bit more flexible. Because I remember when he came out and he was like, yo, with these sort of players at Chelsea, I can only play, you know, a more rigid style of play. Well, with Man City, with the backing that he's going to get, you know, Man City, we like to back our managers. He's going to be able to play free-flowing football, man. I like his temperament. I like his honesty, Maresca. I think he'll do well. But, hey, man, it's big shoes to fill from Pep Guardiola.